coming. My name is Lindsay Vanderbilt, and I am the Director of Communications here at the East Texas Council of Governments. For about the last year and a half, we have taught what we call ECHO 101 classes. And it's because we hear this all the time. Oh, I didn't know you guys did that, or I didn't know this was available to me. And I just made it my mission to open our doors at least once a month and invite anybody that wants to hear about it. But those sessions were so successful in the first year that I said, okay, it's time to start deep diving on our service program areas. Instead of giving just the basics, let's give people the opportunity to really learn some deep information about the actual services in each of our program areas. If you're not familiar with that COG, we've been here for about 55 years. We are formed by state legislature. We are your regional planning commission for East Texas. And what that means is we receive the state and federal funding for the services that are going to benefit our region, whether it's for senior services, job seeker employer services, transportation, public safety services. We have quite a vast array. Today, you're at Workforce Solutions 101. Just to give you a brief idea of how huge this beast is, our annual budget's about $85 million. Y'all are 60. And is to grow the workforce in our region, make it better, make it stronger, help the employers to do so. So that's what y'all are going to learn today. I do have some great speakers in the house I will briefly introduce, and then I'm going to hand it off to one of our leaders in the workforce division to kick this off. But next to me, we have Kim Stacy. She and I have worked together so long. How long have you done workforce services?
35.
35. I only have 19. So,
I'm a baby.
all right, Kim is the business services manager. She knows all things that employers need to know. So if you're an employer, you need to be best friends with Kim. All right, and Deanna, you are the community
Engagement area manager.
Yeah, the titles shift, but the impact only grows. She is about forging those relationships and connecting the dots between those employers and the job seekers and creating partnerships that make a difference. So you're going to hear from primarily these two ladies today. Then we've got one more guest in the back room, happen to be married to him. His name's Chuck Vanderbilt, and he is the Texas Workforce Commission's business liaison for East Texas. Texas Workforce Commission is who funds all of this. They're sending that money to ECHO to serve our region, which is 14 counties. His job is to put grant dollars into the community right here, partnering with the EDCs, Economic Development Corporations, and the training institutions that are in East Texas. So you're going to hear from those three folks today, but I did want to give a moment to one of our leaders in workforce internally at ECHO, and he helped steer this ship that we're talking about. So welcome, Adam Martin.
Hey, so my part will be brief with you guys. I just want to take a minute on behalf of the Workforce Division and my boss, Doug Shryock, he's our director of the Workforce Division, to just say thank you for being here. Without you guys, we don't have jobs, right? Y'all are who we're here to serve. So our employers are our partners in the community. Our training providers are our partners, and we get all of that work done through our contractor, right? So you're going to hear these guys talk to you about available programs, grant opportunities, things that we invite you to listen to, ask questions about. If you have ever wondered about how I can better use grant dollars, when you drop by our Workforce Solutions office and you're like, that sounds like something I could possibly work with, but what can I get out of that, right? Or what can my employees get out of that? Ask those questions today, because as you heard, you have about 50 years combined here setting that can tell you anything that you need to know about the resources available, not to mention Chuck, right? So you heard Lindsay say $60 million, right, is our annual operating budget. The other side that we won't talk much about today that we do have is childcare, right? So there are in our division, we work in the workforce division, but it's essentially split down the middle between childcare responsibilities and workforce responsibilities. So if you ever have any questions in those areas, where the folks can get you those answers. So again, thank you for being here. And if you guys have any questions after this, please feel free to reach out. Lindsay can get a hold of us. Just take advantage of this opportunity. Again, thank you.
Thank you, Adam. And before I hand it off, applause. He needs it. The handouts that you have. I don't want you worried about writing everything down. Your exact presentation is in your hands today. And then Chuck is going to be presenting this front and back, bright blue and green employer training grants. But no one's going to speak about this today, but I call this a little snapshot of our report card in the last year just for workforce. If you want to know the impact that's being made, in the last year, we served 81,000 job seekers and employers. We gave about 800,000 employment training funds and 41,000 job openings worked, and even more stats. If you're just kind of wondering, like, what are these guys doing? Are they really helping people? This is the report card I want you to refer to, and you can go to the QR to our website that can tell you more. But we make a huge impact and impact the lives of so many in East Texas. So welcome to you guys to tell us how.
You bet. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. My name is Kim Stacy, and I have been with the workforce now close to 35 years in a couple of weeks. And let's see, 35 years ago, I walked into the Texas Employment Commission in Killeen, Texas. And I said, you know what? It's time for me to get a job. My husband was a district manager for Walmart. We were planning on moving to East Texas, but they had him doing some different projects. So I thought, you know what? Let me go ahead and start here. I want y'all to know, within 2 weeks, I was hired. I was interviewed. I was hired. But I want you to emphasize to you, this is back in the CRT days, okay?
I don't know what that is.
It's a box. It's a box. I know you, Galen, have no idea what I'm trying to do. It was a box. And that box, I didn't even know how to turn it on. I did not. I was like going, and they said, the reason why you got the job was because of your passion, your interest, and your attitude. So those three things so basically I just want to tell you, I was really raised by workforce. I really was, because I had no idea. We were transferred to Jacksonville. The hurricane dumped us off, and then, I started work out of, suitcases. And those things, you have to figure it out. So when somebody comes in and they're like, I don't know what you do. And the employer says, I have no idea what you all do. I thought you were the unemployment office. Okay, first off, we're not the unemployment office. I've been an unemployment investigator. We're not the unemployment office. Okay? We are the good guys. We're the really good guys. We have people, like the one sitting in the back, that's going to help you with money. Money talks. And this is the thing. Everything we do impacts. I do have to say, every morning I have 3 separate groups. I have the business development team, I have the employer services team, and then I have now the RECE team. This RECE team, those are the ones that actually have the newly unemployed. They just lost their job. Do they come into the workforce happy? Mm-mm. All right, but I've got this group over here that's going out. They're going to get the jobs. For this group, I've got this group over here that actually is putting in the jobs. Do you see where we're now coming full circle? Okay, we're the ones that are sitting in the middle, and it rotates around us how we involve ourselves in lives, how we make a difference. And those things I truly, truly believe, because you have to be passionate about what you do. And when you're leading and you're talking, you're at Walmart, you're at church, and somebody comes up and says, I need a job. You don't turn that off. You don't. You can't. You just say, you know what? Here's my card. Give me a call. Let's see what we can do. In our business, there's never a no. It's always, let me see what I can do for you. And those are things, if there are some takeaways, I would like for everybody to understand. That's what our team does at the workforce. It's always a yes, because we have to be able to say yes. Now we're going to get into the nitty gritty. Okay? We deal with the public. They walk in the door, we see everyone. So after COVID, we had 6 million, well, I don't want to say 6 million, we probably had more than that. that were in the system. Everybody thought that was so cool. Oh God, everybody. Okay. But did that mean everybody wanted to work? Did that mean that everyone had a great resume? In fact, some of the resumes, that's what Deanna's team had to go back and clean up. So we have the general public. Yes, we do. And I will tell you some of the tricks of the trade as we go through this. We have business services, and I did explain what my team does. Then we have our programs. Our programs are different. You're thinking, okay, so what programs are you talking about? Do y'all do unemployment? Well, what did I just say? No. We have those that are eligible for that. Choices. They have the mandated at their own place, but they are mandated to come and do work search. They need to find a job. That's what my favorite word is work. It's the most favorite word. It is the greatest word in the vocabulary. Then we have our locations. How many do we have? Okay. Well, what if I want to go to Jacksonville or Canton or whatever? We have mobile units. Okay. We have 3 wonderful mobile units. We have Work in Texas. This is our state's labor exchange. So I get tickled at somebody who says, what's Work in Texas? I go to Indeed. Well, guess what? Your Indeed posting has just spidered into Work in Texas for compliance. So you're paying a lot of money for what? Nothing. Because that's what happens. We have found so many right now that are being spidered in because we're all grabbing for the same job seekers. And so, and they have to register for Work in Texas. If you look, we cover 10,000 square miles. 5 offices, 14 counties. And the one thing that we like to say, we'll meet you where you are. I do send my Reese team, if someone cannot make it, I send them up to where that claimant is. And I know that many of our program folks do the exact same thing. So when somebody comes in, what do we offer? I mean, it could be overwhelming when you walk in. Okay, this is my first time. I remember the lady's name at the receptionist at TEC in Killeen. Her name was Goldie. And Goldie was golden. I said, I'm scared. I don't know what to do. What's my first step? You know what? It's 35 years later, and that's exactly what people do now. Yes, we've come a long way, and get on the computer and yes, you do those things, but it's still the same. You're scared. You don't know what to do. And that's why we have resource specialists. That's why the compassion that our customer services representatives have to utilize every single minute of every single day, because people just don't come in saying, oh, I'm full of unicorns and sunshine today. No, they want help. They need guidance. They need, most importantly, they need hope. And so those are things. We do have the work in Texas. We have those things. We have printers. We have faxes. I don't know too many that use that, but we do have resumes. We have workshops, and we have what we start out on their journey as to what they need to do. Here are our mobile units. They are state of the art. They are featured, as a matter of fact, in the unemployment video. That is actually, you have to watch it. It's mandated. And what's big, bold out there? Workforce Solutions East Texas, and that's ours. So we're really proud of what we do. We try to get to our counties, and we try to actually meet people where they are. What is Work in Texas? Work in Texas is the state's labor exchange. What is the state's labor exchange? Every state has one. Okay? And it actually feeds into America's job bank. Now, whether you love work in Texas or you hate work in Texas, you guys, for us, and on my team, it doesn't matter. We have to use it. This is ours. We are the gatekeepers to the system. We are going to look, we're going to provide, we are going to dig deep to make sure, one, we take care of the employer. When they put in a posting, we want to see if we can find them the best qualified person. We also then want a job seeker. We want to match them with the jobs that are available. We want to set them up for success. And so those are some of the things that we do. So we have access to job openings. We have resume builders. Yes, we do use AI. And then we have the virtual recruiter, which actually is a 24/7, 365 job matching system. It is mandated, at least in my programs, that they are set up with a virtual recruiter all the time. If you are looking for work, you have to have the virtual recruiter set up. Now, workshops and webinars. Something that we have now, we have a dynamic webinar series, and it actually is a lot of different topics that a job seeker can utilize and be prepared. One of the things that I thought was so cool is I had a letter come to me, I guess it was a couple of weeks ago. And this guy said, Miss Stacy, I've been coming to the workforce for many years, because he's on and off, train, that type stuff. He was laid off. He said, finally, you guys have gotten it right. And I said, what?
We did.
He goes, you now have Job Connection. He goes, I got to get in there. He goes, I know how to sit in front of an HR person, but I tell you what, it was great to have different questions, a new resume, a different resume, something. What if I did want to explore my options to go out and do something different? I had that opportunity. And that was something that he said, finally, you guys have gotten into the 21st century. I was like, oh, that means aging me. Did he know when I started? And then he said, you helped me strengthen my interview skills. You helped me be able to present myself. He goes, I feel more confident. He goes, I might be going back to my job, but how do you know that won't translate to how he is as a leader? And so those are things that's maybe hidden gems that we do that we didn't know that we were doing, but he brought it to light. And I was so grateful and thankful to tell the business services team that, sometimes you don't know what you don't know that you're getting it right until someone tells you. So that was a great compliment. And so when it comes to some of the things that we do, we actually give priority of service. So if you actually walked in and Adam said, hey, I'm going to look for a job posting, and Sonia says, well, I'm going to look for a job posting. And Adam said, well, here it is, because he registered as a veteran and Sonia did not. Who do you think gets to see it? Adam. Because there's a 48-hour hold. And we take care of our veterans. We take care of the qualified spouse of a veteran. We're getting ready for Red, White, and U. And that is something, not only is it going to be open to the public, but we actually give a preference of service to those that are veterans.
What's Red, White, and U?
Red, White, and U is one of the largest statewide job events that we will have.
November 10th.
On November 10th. There. Well, luckily it was Adam's idea, 1421 South Beckham at our new location.
If you haven't seen it, please come see it.
And I want y'all to know, yes, we are so excited to hold it there. We are, I'm hoping just to fill to capacity. Usually we have it at My Cobb or we have it at the Rose Garden, but why not show off who we are?
Just please don't spill any soup on the floor.
Of course, foster youth and former foster youth is also a priority of service. So those are things that we actually we do. So what does that mean? Somebody says, well, I'm a veteran. They go to the top of the list. Also, they're the first ones that actually will give either job developments, job matches. We actually will send them out first, and then priority enrollment into our programs. You're saying, what kind of programs are you talking about? Well, that's what Deanna's going to talk about in just a second. And so that's what we do. So business services. What is my team? Well, we do Red, White, and U. We do job fairs. We do job developments. Our goals are vast. We help everyone who wants a job. As I said, we are the gatekeepers of work in Texas. When an employer comes in and says, I want somebody happy. Chuck, what are we going to do?
Pay them more.
Okay. Happy. Okay. So it's up to my team to actually dig deep. What do you mean? We're not, your happiest may not be my happy. So let's talk about qualifications. So a lot of what my team does is not only education, but it is in compliance with the law. That's just the way work in Texas is. And then basically we do a lot of the marketing along with Lindsay, along with our team. We actually market. We do hot jobs. We basically, when somebody we have employer groups. We'll be having an employer group on the 29th, and Chuck's going to be there. Apprenticeship's going to be a topic, as well as incumbent worker. Those things that we're hosting simply because it's part of learning. We want our employers to be educated, but most importantly, as Chuck's going to go into, we don't want any dollars left on the table. We want it to stay in East Texas, and we want our qualified workforce to be the best that it can be. And many times that's through upskilling and filling the gaps. So some of the other things that we do is fidelity bonding. What is fidelity bonding? Fidelity bonding is when somebody is justice involved, has gotten out, and the employer wants to be bonded just to keep things safe. And that is, I laugh because, I've been around since dirt. And so with that being said, one of the first job developments I ever made was this young man. He walked in, and you guys, he had on a 3-piece suit. He walked in, he said, "I want to work at Austin Bank." Oh, wow, this is my first job development. So I sent him because I had a contact. I knew the HR. So I sent him on, did it, and called her and said, "I got a great person." We got the interview set up. She called me back. "Kim, he just got out of for embezzlement." What? Okay, so fidelity bonding would have helped us. Okay. Okay, maybe not.
I'm not sure at the back.
But with that being in mind, those are some of the things that we are here in East Texas. My team, myself, we actually can send that up to TWC, and they actually guide us through to do that. Labor market assistance, we have employers who come in and say, "Am I paying the right wage? Do I do that?" I mean, I know that, somebody down the street just gave a $3 an hour bump. $3 an hour is a whole lot of money. So what is the average wage for that occupation? We actually can look that up for you. Okay. Incumbent worker grant. That is something that actually where that employer has people on their payroll and they want to upskill. We've had a very successful program. In fact, that particular employer has gotten $50,000. What, Lindsay, twice, I believe? Yes. So, yes.
Path engineering.
So this has been a very successful program for us. Reverse referral. We do this a whole lot. So somebody says, and Deanna's going to talk about it too in those programs, but when we actually have, let's say, Bass Engineering. Bass Engineering actually says, "Hey, Kim, I've just got somebody that came in. I'm looking at a job development, maybe work opportunity tax credit, maybe on the job training." These are all stackable, different incentives for this employer. And that's before we get to Chuck's. This is the thing. We have the ability to really work with our employers. I think some of the hardest things that we have to do, and that's why we have deployed this new team, they're going out and they are getting aggressive with these employers and saying, "I just want you to know I'm here to listen." I'm here for you to tell me what we can do for you. And that's one of the best things that TWC has done in a long time. Like I said, I've been here since a long time. And yes, we used to have those folks, but now we have them again. And that's to change the face of workforce, who we are, what our message is, and what we can do for not only our community, but the state as a whole. So with that being said, I'd like to introduce Chuck Vanderbilt.
Thank you, Kevin.
All right, good morning, gang. Where am I gonna stand? Okay. My name is Chuck Vanderbilt. I am with the Texas Workforce Commission's Office of Employer Engagement and Community Outreach in Austin, Texas. I am your regional business liaison, and I cover 3 workforce board areas. I'm in East Texas. I live in Longview, work, live, and play here, but I also serve Northeast Texas all the way to Texarkana and Texoma, that kind of sliver of counties between Dallas and Oklahoma. So I serve those 3 workforce boards, doing the exact same thing I'm doing here today. There are essentially 10 of me that cover the entire state for this office in Austin. And our sole goal is to go out and do everything we can to help our workforce board territories unlock the dollars that are available in Austin and put them to work in our territories. Because you better believe when I talk about these grant opportunities, your major corporations run by folks like Elon Musk are getting these dollars. Those businesses that are on the main highways, Houston, Dallas, Austin, they are getting these dollars. My goal is to get this put to work here where I live, work, and play. I've got kids. I want them to get jobs. I want them to be trained. I want this money spent here, right? I want the new equipment in their school or wherever they go to college, not necessarily in Austin or College Station. But I will open with today, it is a significant day. If you did not hear at the beginning of the presentation, today is Texas Chainsaw Massacre Day. By the way, if you're not a horror film fan, today's the actual day that it's fictionally set in. If you live, the closest theater to you that will be showing it today is in Tyler. So if you don't have your ticket, you can still take it. But also, it's also Lindsay's, my wife's birthday. So happy birthday to her. So I am going to kind of go into some of the grant opportunities that are available through my office. I'm not going to read this form to you. I'm not going to read from any slides. This is a resource for you to take with you. It gives you a brief overview of some of the things I'm going to talk about. If it interests you, or maybe you know somebody that works somewhere that could help benefit that employer or that employee, I love talking about ideas and potential projects. How can we make this work? I like to problem solve. How to unlock money. It's what I enjoy doing. It's weird, I know. But I want to start with kind of what my team calls our bread and butter grant for our employers in East Texas. It's called Skills Development Fund. This next fiscal year, which starts September 1 for TWC, we have $22.9 million statewide to try to get out the door for Texas employers to train their employees without having to spend a dime. With no money going to any employee or employer, it's strictly between the training provider, your junior colleges, your community colleges, your technical schools, and TWC. And we can put a contract in place to train full-time employees and cover up to $2,400 worth of training at TJC, at Kilgore College. Go TSTC in Marshall. Pick one of those kind of colleges. Those are eligible applicants that can tap into those for business. And that means that business will send that employee to get training at TJC, Kilgore College in maintenance, mechanical, something that is skills based, right? And not have to pay anything for that employee. Now you think, okay, most grants, that's nice, but most grants, you've got to bring some money to the table just to get some money unlocked, right? You got to have 10%, 50%. Not here. The employer doesn't have to bring any money. Employees don't have to bring any money into this. Up to $2,400 for every full-time employee. Now think about this. We are kind of close to the Louisiana border. What if my employee lives in Louisiana? They're eligible as long as they work full-time in Texas, right? So we can train those employees too. It is designed, the Skills Development Fund grant is designed for skills-based training. So it is technical in nature, but it does allow for some soft skill training as well. Because as I think we all know, every business I meet with, if it's not the first thing, it's the second thing. Soft skills are an issue. How to communicate effectively, how to show up on time, how to dress appropriately, how to act like a leader. For TWC, that's considered soft skills. And while through that grant, we can't do a whole bunch of training. We can do a whole bunch of technical training and a little bit of soft skill training as well for your businesses here in East Texas. So that's a great one. You can see it says up to $500,000 per employer. We go over that all the time. We have a $7 million application in our office right now. So we go over that, and it doesn't have to be a huge project. I've done a $30,000 project. We can do $20,000. As long as it makes sense for the training provider, the college, right? And the business is good, TWC is good, we're going to fund that project. So that's skills development. But yes, please ask questions. Love it.
So is this to help startup businesses or do
Great
they have
question.
to be
So-
in business a long time?
Think about the suite of services you've heard about prior to me coming up here. That was really looking at folks trying to get that job or find work or that work experience to cover whether or not that employer is going to hire them long term. These grants are really focused on existing employees that are full-time employees in the state of Texas. So it can't be part-time, they've got to be full-time as well. Now, there's no time limit, like they've got to be on your books for 6 months, nothing like that. Are they a full-time employee? Yes, they're eligible. Simple as that. Trying to think, what I want to highlight about this as well, a lot of times our businesses will go to a college and say, I like this course, but we do things just a little bit differently. These funds can help that college customize the program, add equipment, do it at night, do it at the business site, do it a mix of hybrid. We can help them customize it. So this is really about building the training providers, those colleges, their capacity to meet the needs of the employers that are currently looking for that training. Because if you sit in some of those meetings, there's a bit of a disconnect between what's coming out of the education systems and what the employer is actually wanting. So we're trying to bridge that gap. We're trying to bring folks together, and where there is that, like, I like what you do for your HVAC at TJC, but Train Technologies wants something done a certain way. We can work with Train and the college to help them customize it to meet Train's needs. So it's a customizable grant. Any other questions on skills development before I go? I will add, a lot of our grants, in most people's grant world, you apply for a grant. If you get it, great. Good life. Bye. Right? This one you can come back to. These are not one and done grants. So let's say a business gets a grant this year. They spend $500,000 of TWC money to train. Great. They close out that grant. Once that process is done, they can reapply, do it all over again, or do it differently, or scale up, however they want to do that. Next, my favorite. This is your skills for small business. It's my favorite. I used to be a small business owner. Small businesses is who I really meet with most of the time. Do I get to go meet with corporations and tour? Yes. But small businesses, not only is it who I meet with most, but they need these resources the most, right? They're the ones that are getting pinched and pinched. Their bottom lines are very small. So anytime we can leverage these funds to kind of help them with that, that's what we want to do. So skills for small business is different. It's not so much every employer goes out there and applies and goes through the state, and it's a 6-month application and approval process. That's skills development. So that's a big thing. Skills for small business, a contract can be in place, say at Tyler Junior College, Kilgore College. Any business with less than 100 employees can literally take that college course catalog book, open it up, and say, that course would benefit my business. It's eligible, right? And so let's say you've got a new employee that's been with you less than 12 months. TWC will fund up to $2,000 worth of courses out of that course catalog. That can get you one really expensive course or probably 3 or 4 inexpensive courses. Go ahead.
Question in the back.
Yes.
Can that cog apply?
Great question. So these grants are funded by employer tax dollars. So it is for the for-profit businesses in general, right? So employers pay money to the state. Every 2 years, the state takes a portion of that tax fund and says, okay, this is our team's budget to go out and try to push for grants. So since it is tax funded, it is for those who pay taxes. Therefore, EdCog would not be eligible, or those that do not pay taxes are not eligible for such things. But think about this: if you're a small business and you want to recruit new talent, and you've got your connection with the Skills for Small Business, say, hey, when I hire you, I can fund up to $2,000 worth of professional development with this college straight out the gate your first year. And then your next year, $1,000. And then the year after that, $1,000, the year after that, $1,000. What does that do for HR when you say, not only am I going to hire you, but I have a way to invest in you right out the gate? And then every year after that, right? Because we care about you, we see a future with you, we want to invest in you. Guess what? They don't have to actually invest anything because we're paying. But it really looks good when you hire someone and say, hey, and in your first year, I got up to $2,000 at a Kilgore College sitting right here in my pocket for you. Come on, right? It doesn't matter if it's technical. It doesn't matter if it's soft skills. You want leadership, you want any of those things. If it's in the college's existing course catalog, and a business can say, yes, this will benefit my business because it's eligible. So it's great. I call it my low-hanging fruit. It's the easiest money out of my office that you can get. So really want to push that. It has not been utilized statewide by every college. It's not every college here, but it's a simple conversation. And a lot of times the colleges wait for a business or a group of businesses to come say, hey, we'd like to take advantage of this. And then they do it. We put that contract in place. It's literally an online application. It's quickly approved. You can be training within 2 months versus 6 months with a skills development fund, which is just a larger project altogether. There's a couple under here I want to touch on the other side, because I'm really proud of these Texans for how actively they pursue high demand job training grant funds. This is a little bit different. This is not training your full-time employees. This is how can, again, we increase the capacity of your colleges and your secondary ed in your region to produce that talent pipeline to create those employees that those employers are needing, right? So we can leverage a one-to-one match up to $150,000 through high demand job training to put equipment on high school campuses and college campuses. And East Texas has historically been very aggressive and participated at a high rate versus the rest of the state in capturing these dollars. So doing very well here. Henderson, Kilgore College, Tyler Junior College, Longview ISD, all of these schools in the area are capturing these dollars, putting equipment in those classrooms. So that's a great one I want to touch on. I do want to mention, we always talk about apprenticeship. That is not done through my office, separate division, a little bit more nuanced, and it is employer driven, right? So that employer's got to say, I want to start the apprenticeship program. Then we connect them in Austin. And then of course, when I'm out and they're not here, I always want to promote Workforce Solutions East Texas. Just a great outfit that you can really leverage no cost resources for that employer, for the employee, to make those connections. Because again, there's a disconnect there. How can we bring them together? They're the boots on the ground to do that. So please utilize any of this money, especially mine. Yes.
Okay, on the skills for small business.
Yes.
How does that funding flow? Is this like a reimbursement type thing?
So yeah, both. Again, it's on the college. The college has to complete the training. Once that person goes through the training, they complete it, they report it to TWC, they are then reimbursed for the training. The employer doesn't see any money come and go. The employee doesn't see any money come and go. It is a contract between TWC and the college specifically. So the college says, yeah, come on, we'll enroll you. They complete the training, they send their report to TWC, or TWC funds that training. And that's how it goes.
That's gonna stay available when we finish. We're gonna wrap it up with our job seeker programs and, Deanna, I know you got this.
Good morning. I could talk probably about 4 hours about work. Scratch the surface. So I'm gonna take the next 7 minutes and give you as much as I can. 7, 10.
Think it's all the time?
You know,
A little bit.
11:30. If you want more time, you can take it. You know, people might start walking out, but when you're ready for lunch.
It can get complicated. I mean, this is government funded stuff, so I'm gonna try to keep it light and purposeful. But I want to play a little game, an alphabet game. How many of you have ever heard of SNAP? What does that mean? What does SNAP stand for?
Program.
Educated audience.
Yeah. We don't administer SNAP. So why is it up there? I'll tell you. Choices. That is a program that helps people that are on TANF. What is TANF? Temporary assistance for needy families. Okay, y'all know about this stuff. Okay, so why is that there? We don't administer TANF funds for people. NCP. What does that stand for? Song and the non-custodial program.
Some grant administrators in the house.
And then this one, I may actually have to look at my piece of paper. What does PC stand for? Free
Employment services.
Eligibility. Services and eligibility assessment. I can't ever that there. Okay. So the reason we're playing that, that game here is so that we can really remember what these programs are. But how does workforce fall into that? So those SNAP, TANF, NCP program, those are all funded through, or not funded, but partnered with HHSC, Health and Human Services. So they do the giving of the money to the people for food stamps, SNAP, or TANF money. But those are meant to be temporary services to people in the community. And so we work with them to help them get a job. Wow, that's what we do. So, you got to have a job to have money coming in so that you don't need those benefits anymore. So that's how that all works. Reese is Kim's program. She mentioned a little bit about that, but that's for those that have been laid off from a job and they're on unemployment and then they get their name called and they come into our office and we help them find a job. WIOA. Anybody know what WIOA stands for? Not you, Sonia. I know that. So that is Workforce Innovation and Opportunities Act. So what that program does is for those that qualify, we help those job seekers. They could either go to school potentially, they could get on-the-job training with an employer that we partner with, or a work experience internship. And those are all ways to help people skill up and get the job that they need to be able to support their families. So I'll go a little bit into those. I never pay attention to PowerPoint, so I already said all that. All right, so there's 3 categories of those WIA programs. Dislocated worker, which is those that have been laid off from a job at no fault of their own. WIA adult program, which is for those 18 and up that qualify. And we'll talk more about qualifications in a minute. And then WIA youth is 14 to 24. Now you may say, wait a second, you said 18 and up, and then you said 14 to 24. There's an overlap. And that is where we kind of decide, okay, you may be 18, but so you could technically be an adult, but you've never worked before. So you probably need a little bit more of our intensive services in the young adult, the youth program. Or you could be 18 and you finished school early and you've been working and you're an adult, you're ready to go. So we may put you in that. It also depends on qualifications too. So we decide what program path may be best for you. But the option for clients or customers that qualify for WIA. So we'll talk a little bit about the qualifications. For young adults, it's barriers to employment. So if you know of a young adult between 14 and 24 that is facing the barrier of maybe they're a parenting youth or pregnant or parenting. Maybe they've been involved in the criminal justice system in some way. Maybe they're a current or former foster youth. That's automatic qualifier. Maybe they have some sort of disability. Now, when we talk about disabilities, we could talk about a whole nother division too, vocational rehabilitation services, but that's for another EdCog 101.
Great idea.
Yeah. But so basically it's barriers to employment. These youth are disconnected from work. They are, maybe they've graduated high school or maybe they haven't. We want to get them into GED classes if they have not graduated from high school. So we want to connect them and encourage them and motivate them. We want to show them what's possible in the career field that they're interested in. Some come to us and they have no idea what they want to do. So we help them. We do assessments and figure out what kind of career path may be best for them. Part of that is work experience internships. So they come to us and they say, a young adult says, oh, well, my cousin's a nurse and she loves it and I want to go into the medical field. And we say, okay, so you want to go into the medical field because your cousin is in the medical field. We place them in an internship in a medical environment and they come back to us and they say, oh, no, I don't want to go into the medical field. They may make a bunch of money, but that is not for me. And we go, okay, well, that's okay. That's why we did this, because the next step potentially is going to school, occupational skills training. So we want to help them develop those soft skills in that internship, prove to us that they're really ready to go, that they're continually improving. And then we may spend money on them to go to school for a certification. So I don't know if any of you guys went to college, if you're doing the thing that you went to school for. You did something. But you don't know. You don't know when you're 18 what you really want. Some people do, but they're the lucky ones. So with that, they may do the internship and go to school. And then ultimately the goal is a job. The reason we're doing all of this is to get them to a job, to get them to a better job than they would have just been able to do, applying on their own. These things I'm talking about also apply to the adult program as far as the options. On the job training, I love this one because employers love this one. And when we have our employers happy and loving something, then it makes our jobs easier and it helps our customers. So on the job training is where somebody comes to us and has some of the skills that the employer's looking for, but maybe not everything. All right, so how do we give them a job doing what that job opening is for? Well, we go to the employer and we say, if you're willing to train this person that has this and this skill, but lacks this and this and this and this, and we reimbursed you 75% of their wages for up to 6 months, would you interview them? They'll be like, yeah, 75% off. Oh, well, y'all don't want me doing math and I don't have a whiteboard or a calculator. That could be like $10,000 up to $14,000. I mean, we're talking big money. And they're going to get them to where they want them to be. You know, a lot of employers actually prefer to train somebody themselves because maybe they don't have bad habits from another job or another employer. But up to 75% of the wages for up to 6 months. So yeah, they like it. Sonia, it's become huge since you were here. It's become big. So that's the benefit of job seekers coming to the workforce is we've got those connections with the employers. We've got these program options and we can help them decide what might work best for them. So I'll go to the next one. See, PowerPoints don't do it for me. Okay, occupational skills training, we'll talk about that. So going to school, short-term credentials is what we're focused on right now. So something that's typically like 6 months or less. We send a lot of people to truck driving school because there's not funding for truck driving school at the local colleges. You can't go apply for Pell Grant, FAFSA, all those other acronyms. You can't apply for those and go for that. Certified clinical medical assistant. That's really popular. Took my dad to an eye doctor appointment yesterday, and I think I saw about 20 in that whole office. Mm-hmm. They were all running around. Like, it is in demand. So these are things that a lot of the people that come to us don't even know about. They're like, what's a certified clinical medical assistant? Can I be that? Like, what does it take to get that? Truck drivers, we get them coming to us at 18 and they say, I want to be a truck driver. And be like, that's a great goal. But employers, it's hard to get insured if you're 18 because you probably just got the driver's license 2 years ago. So let's let you drive some more and get some more experience. And then let's get to that CDL. Because ultimately we could send people to anything, but unless it's going to result in them getting a job, that's the main end goal is helping them get there. So that's barely even scratching the surface, but support services, if someone is in our WIA program, in our TANF, in our SNAP programs, they may be eligible for assistance with transportation. So gas card, bus passes, if there's a bus in their area, clothing for work. Maybe the employer says, well, you want to be a welder and you want to work at my place, you need a welding hat. We require all people that work here to bring their own welding hat. Okay, we'll get them a welding hat. Tools, scrubs, non-slip shoes, all that kind of thing. So if they qualify, they can get those because those barriers are what is making it difficult for them. The connections, the financial barriers and whatnot. Something else that maybe one day we'll have a call 101 on is CCS. Do y'all know what that stands for? Child Care Services, yes. So if you're in one of our programs, there's this wait list, right? Not with our program. So they'll snap you up off that wait list because the WIA funds will pay for child care. So it's really helpful. It's hard to go to work if you don't have child care and you need child care. So that's another part of our WIA program. So to remember is easttexasworkforce.org because there's so much information on there. Copies of our brochures are in the About section on the top right. You just click that and all the brochures for the individual programs. So if you know anybody, I have lots of business cards. You're welcome to them. Ask me any questions about our programs and I'd be happy to help.
All these guys will be available if you have specific questions. I get to manage the workforce website. It does have tons of content on it. If you're wondering, how do I find out about those hiring events, about those job training workshops? They happen all the time, a couple times a month at least, all across East Texas. If you're wondering where your nearest workforce center is, if you live in one of the rural areas, we have the calendar of when our mobile unit will be there in your community at least once a week, usually once a week. once a week. We're in the rural communities. All that information is on our website and social media, so I suggest you follow us. One final point, I failed to kind of close this loop, and this is the ETCOG loop. ETCOG is all about grassroots planning and regionalism and coming together to decide what needs to happen here in East Texas. So I was remiss in not mentioning y'all have amazing elected officials that are coming together to designate what groups like this get to do, all of our boards. Your judges and your county judges of each of the 14 counties serve, mayors of Longview and Tyler, and they designate a member to our Workforce Solutions East Texas Board. And that's the group that gets to decide all these dollars we're talking about. They are deciding what is best for our region and how we need to spend it. So I just wanted to make that point. We're not a bunch of random employees over here shuffling around millions of dollars. We are at the leadership of the leaders in our region. So I appreciate your time. Please feel free to mingle, ask questions. We will have a general ETCOG 101 workshop if you liked today. That is on August 27th, same time and place, and it's going to touch a little bit on every program we offer. Okay? Thank y'all so much.